Game 2 of the Miami Dolphins preseason battle versus the Raiders is in the books. We've got training camp, 2 preseason games to build our evaluation on the Miami Dolphins heading into the 2022 season. Now, nothing we've seen so far is cementing this or cementing that. But you've got to be honest and understand certain things you're getting higher degree of clarity than others. This week 1 battle against the Patriots, guys, is what I have myself circled, highlighted, underlined, and I got a telescope on it because that's going to be the big reveal. That's when you're going to find out whether you're getting the Porsche behind door number 1 or you're pulling a curtain behind and you see the Wizard of Oz for what he is. We're going to get a real showing. Now, I was watching a movie last night after watching the game a couple times with my wife, and it was a quote. If a man doesn't have enemies, he's not a man. And what that really means is if you don't take firm stances, you won't have enemies if you go with the flow. But if you take firm stances, you're going to have some people that disagree with you. Now, with this podcast, I'm probably going to have people disagreeing with me for both sides. There's people saying everything is going perfect. It's all part of the process. And then there's others saying we're doomed. We can't determine that yet. But as I said, there is clear evidence on a load of stuff and clear context around this. So I'm putting my foot in the ground a lot. I said I was going to wait till week 1. I'm going to for the whole kit and caboodle, but there's clear things that you gotta admit are reality. So I'm going to do chapters because I just kind of write stuff down and just let it roll. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. Sometimes I drag on too much. So I'm going to have a lot of chapters for you to move on, go back, do whatever you got to do. And here's the chapters. I might add more because, like I said, I just let the stuff roll. I think about it and let it roll. So we're going to have assessing our... I got my book here. Forget about that computer stuff I was using. Assessing our current situation, 2 and a QBs, O-line, assessing the individual O-line, incongruent prototypes to scheme, skills and easy, defense, and talent level realizations. Now, I want you to understand, we have to accept certain realities going into the season. And we also have to accept that we don't have a clear picture yet. It's still very murky for many reasons. This preseason is unlike any preseason I've ever seen. Teams are bringing in their starters against second-tier guys. Some teams are bringing half their starters. You're not seeing what you used to, which is a slow build-up to kind of like a pseudo game between 2 first-string sides, and then you can kind of get a better feel. This is all over the place. And this creates a further murky backdrop for what we're doing. But within that, there are certain things, again, very clear. Now, before I go into all that, I want to say thank you for all who are stopping by. Much appreciated for the likes, comments, and subscribes, and the views. Thank you so much. You keep this show in business. But I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Ace Per Head, because without them, the show isn't going down either. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. You could see that our offense was looking a lot like the offense from previous years. And this is not an indictment on Tua. It's not an indictment on McDaniel. It's not an indictment on anything. You have to understand. You could see us transitioning to like play actions to get plays off and keeping tight ends and running backs in, just like we did last year. Not to the same degree, but that adherence to 12 personnel was done last year and across many years, all the way back to Gase and beyond, because we have problems on the offensive line. And when you have problems on the offensive line, you just can't let the offensive line get beat and your quarterback killed. You have to do things to compensate. And this is what is happening. Now, the context to the other side. We didn't see Teron Armstead. And this is a big piece to change things. But it's not a panacea to fix the problems. Because I'm going to do tape after this. There are absolute clear fundamental issues that will not be corrected this season. But it will be improved. My man, Teron, is going to help us. And the additions of Waddle and the additions of Hill change things greatly. A lot of the stuff you're seeing is not going to happen the way you see it with Teron, Hill, and Waddle. Just isn't. It's going to alter it. Now, in the same token, because it's this addition of these three players is going to help everything out. But it's not going to wipe away these issues when you're playing elite teams in critical situations in certain weather conditions. And this is going to be a big question for me, but right now it's a big concern. We might be able to solve it in these situations, but this is my concern. I do believe Teron, Hill, and Waddle will boost what we're seeing here, but it's not going to be enough against the best level teams in these tight conditions. So with this framework underneath us and understanding the Raiders did not come out bringing their best unit. So what we saw this week is got to be kind of held within that lens. And also, McDaniel said last week, well, we couldn't run the football because they had everybody stacked in a box. That really didn't happen this week to that degree. So that excuse kind of evaporates. Now, with this clear, absolute framework, although some of these things, the levels and what the effect is undetermined, let's get into some clear facts and some clear realizations that we have. Now, Tua, without a doubt, he played with the toughest, against the toughest level of opponents, and he was able to handle his business. He is better than Teddy, at least in this showing and showing prior. He's better than Skyler. He deserves to be the quarterback for this team. He showed with his movement how if you bring 3 and drop 8, he's able to have his movement skills to buy time to make a pass play. He's able to get the ball off. He's got a better understanding of this offense. His improvements are clear, and this guy is the best option at quarterback. We have to see if he stays healthy, and ultimately we got to see how high he can lift the talent. But there's no doubt. Teddy is not taking over by week 3 unless there's an injury. That's it. And Teddy has issues. Teddy threw 2 balls behind or late, and it popped out because he wasn't taken into account. He has some talent, but that injury to his knee leaves him looking stiff. And he's not who he was coming out of college. He's a serviceable backup, and I don't feel terrible with him starting. He's better than Brissett, I think. But he is not the starting guy. So, O-line. Guys, Phins, we have been inconsistent and unable to win the big game for a long time. And the reason for that is because our O-lines have sucked really bad. Offensive line, I say it over and over and over, creates consistency and it sets the table. You don't have to have the best offensive line, but you can't have the 5 stooges. And that's what we got to see. Not 5 stooges, but at least 3. And then when you add backups, maybe you add 5. Break into it individually, and I don't want to hear, well, the techniques and we got a new coaching staff. The film is the film. When you see trends dating back from last year to the first preseason game to the second preseason game, it's kind of set in stone, at least through this season. because you're not really going to develop that much. You're not going to develop core strength and core things over the course of the season. So I'm going to get into it right here. Now, Tehran, as I said, I can't understand how valuable this is. When you see this guy on the field, it's going to alter things. And you put Hill and Waddle, they're not going to be able to do certain things. You're going to be able to protect certain things. It's going to change things completely. But this is not going to get you over the hump against elite teams that have talent up the yin-yang. But it's going to make a difference. This guy's going to make so much of a difference. Connor. We heard a lot about bad snaps. I got to go back. It's hard with it when I have an all 22, but I didn't see any bad snaps, and he was in for a few drives. So I saw him, like I expected, saw him have some nice wins, saw him get to the next level, I believe. I got to go back and study it. I'm going to have the film. Didn't see any bad snaps, and I did see him struggle a little bit when Power was in front of him and they were bull rushing him, which is what I expected. But this is why I prefer him at center, and I think, as I said, he's going to have a level of consistency with snapping that's not going to be a dramatic detriment to the offense, but I do wonder about these critical situations and very bad weather like snow. So, Eichenberg, same thing as last week, beaten on power. He just ran past one guy on a pole. He's not consistent enough at any level. Just not. And he's not going to get it fixed this season. You don't get stronger over the course of the season. If anything, you get weaker. You don't get to train as much. Your body's beaten up. You're not able to exercise. You're not able to maintain your weight, like good weight. So he's not getting stronger. I'm sure he'll improve a little bit, but he is so far that he was beaten bunch of times, and they protected him with the movement plays and the play actions. But when it was one-on-one, when it was let's attack here, he was defeated most of the time. And Tehran's not going to fix that. He's going to help him because Eichenberg won't have to be like, oh, I got to worry about Tehran. Tehran's got his guy. Let me get over here. I might not have to roll too much to the left and be able to keep a little more middle position so that stunt comes, I'll have a little extra space. But he was beaten over and over and over and over. Jackson, forget about it. Forget it. Hunt had to continually go to his side. He was beat on a swim move and power. He can't run block. It's over. He's not going to make it this year. I mean, I guess Eichenberg and Jackson can, but if they haven't done it now, and when I do the tape, you'll see, and then you could look at the last tape, and you can look at last year, and you'll see the same trends. These guys, good guys, they got some skill sets, they got some talent, but there's certain holes in their game. And if you have vast holes in your game, you get exposed on the NFL level. You can't hide your weaknesses in certain positions. Yeah, if you're just a fast guy who catches deep balls, they can put you there. You can kind of, if you're a pass rusher and you can't stop the run, they can bring you on, but not when you're an offensive lineman. No, sir. Especially not in the zone stretch, which is a very finicky and a very delicate scheme. It's inside zone, and man is far more forgiving. Okay, Hunt, pretty good. And I'm going to get into Hunt as a prototype compared to the rest of these prototypes in this next section. I'm not going to say any more about him. I like his awareness is picking up. He sees Jackson needing that help, and he pulls off, even when it's at the tail end of his peripheral. I like Hunt. Not saying he's great. Not yet. Guy's got a couple more years before he's finished growing. Good pick, good player. Robert Jones. I like Robert Jones, but I don't like him in the zone stretch. I had some tape, some technical issues. It couldn't get out. I'm going to take the tape from last week and this week and put it together. I haven't formed my final opinion. Okay? But honestly, I'd start him over Eichenberg at this stage. Honestly, I would. Concern is the zone stretch. But this guy has got far less holes in his game in maybe an inside zone. I don't know, it's hard. But I kind of do like him better than Eichenberg. And he played, I think I saw him playing left side. So maybe that's in the works here. Dieter. Forget about Dieter. Sorry, I'm very hyped up. I was like, forget about Dieter. Forget it. No, not even talk about it. Forget about it. Coleman, he's a young guy. If you got him coming in for Tehran during the regular season, I'd say forget about it too. Forget it. Kinley, there's some good parts of his game, but man, I don't think he's going to fit the zone stretch either. And that head dip, it works because he's so physical. He's a guy I just love to watch play in some areas. But I don't think he's going to really be the guy for us. Although, I don't think he's much worse than Eichenberg. But neither one of these are award-winning players for us. Now, this is the problem. We have mixed prototypes and skill sets on our offensive line that some fit the inside zone and man, some fit wide zone. To me, Jones is a good pickup late. Dude, he got him for a song and a dance. I think it was an undrafted free agent. Or I don't remember. I'm sorry. But he's like song and a dance time, and I think he has potential. But it's more an inside zone and man than outside zone. He's just not agile enough. But he has some potential. But Hunt is the kind of prototype we need. He's got size. He's got agility. He can kind of play both, even though I think he's better served at inside zone. But notice the difference between him, Jackson, Dieter, Eichenberg, Martin. I don't know. These guys, they're all agility players. Pouncey even, but Pouncey was a super elite athlete, and he played center. But when you get to these peripherals, if you don't have strength and power, you run into major problems no matter what you scheme you put him in. And Hunt, he's got a little bit of everything. This guy is one of the best offensive line picks that we've had in a long time. But we have incongruent pieces on this team. I like Connor. I like Hunt. I like Jones. Love my man Tehran. That's it. Other than that, if this was the offseason, I'd say scrap it. Scrap the rest. Or have them be your 7th or 8th offensive lineman. Or you're going to keep 9 and 10. But you need like 4 through 6 right now. Sorry if I'm hurting people's feelings. I might be wrong, but man, don't say that. All right, skills and easy. Easy looks real good. Real good. But considering the hole on the offensive line, easy, stacked with Waddle and Wilson and, Hill. I mean, your skills are not going to win you games, especially big games, without this offensive line. But this kid looks good. Now, he beat Robertson for that big catch. Looks great. And he did exactly what he was supposed to do. But let's keep in mind that Robinson sucks. I hate to say it, I'm sorry. He has been struggling for a long time. So, Easy is a guy that is a good pick. Well, a little bit of a luxury pick. Like the way he's heading, but let's not say he's turned into Randy Moss yet. Good pick. But man, if we could have got that kind of pick on the offensive line. I like the pick, though. I do. Now, Edmonds looks good. He's shifty. He's fast. He has awareness. He can catch. Good pickup. Can he stay healthy? He hasn't been able to stay healthy. But I like the pick. Gesicki just looks like, because he's a mid-clock to late-clock receiver to get open. And if you can't have the time, it's very difficult to get him in his groove. But when Waddle and Hill come in, it's going to change things, and it's going to open up for Gesicki. Gesicki's time will come. I don't know how he'll be maximized, but he's going to do a lot better with Hill and Waddle. Hill and Waddle changes a ton, guys. Still don't think, though, as I said, it's going to put us over the top when it comes to the top-level teams. Okay? Defense. All right. We know the defense is going to be good. We don't know If Boyer is going to be able to call like Flores, we'll see. Or scheme like Flores, we'll see. We've got a lot of talent here. You got to take it with a grain of salt by what you saw against the Raiders because they were stripped bare. Their offensive line is not good to start off with. They got a Colton Miller. He's the only really good player, and that's it. And you saw, what's his name? I put his name down. Leatherwood. This guy is worse than Jackson or Eichenberg. He is a turnstile with grease around the spindles. Okay? So when we saw Augustin and Phillips beating him like there's nobody's business, Phillips is going to do it. He's a superstar. Gustin's a good player. I kind of like what I'm seeing in the background. But this offensive line had Colton Miller out. Carr wasn't in. Didn't have the top-level receivers. So let's take the performance with a grain of salt. They're going to be good, though, no matter what. Even if Boyer is just a little bit less than Flores, this team has loads of talent. Sealer is so good. He's going to be so expensive. And I'm hoping that Greer can manage to keep Wilkins and Sealer, and we can go to a 4-3, because that's where I think these guys would shine. But it's going to be super expensive for these two guys. Both good players. Van Ginkel, solid at every level. He's a three-tool guy, but not the high level like Phillips, let's say. We'll see how Phillips develops in the run game. Good player. Phillips, it was sad what he was doing to Leatherwood. His run defense, there was some good, some bad. He's still developing. This guy is superstar, potential. Duke Riley, nice guy in the backfield for a linebacker group. He keeps popping. Not elite, but quality player. Gustin, I liked. Obviously Holland, all these other dudes. We know that. Problem is, guys, much like the offensive line, our corner group is in big trouble. Nick Needham. I love Nick Needham. He's a good player. He's going to be expensive, though, in another year after this contract. Not this year, but next year, at the end of next year. He's a good player. Excellent nickel guy. Want to see, make sure in the big games, though, he comes through that big moment. He's had a little problems with that, but what a good player. What a good player. And then Noah. Forget about Noah. Done. McDaniel says he wants to be more aggressive. He can't. He doesn't have explosion. He's done. He's done for the season. Forget it. He should be cut. It's a bust pick. Kid's a nice kid. Great family. Maybe he'll develop down the road. I don't know. Maybe he could play safety or something. I don't know. He doesn't like to hit too much. I don't know. But if we keep him, that's like keeping a shadow. Just putting a shadow out on the field and say, cover. We got 10 men on the field. Forget about it. Ross, the rest of the guys, Crossan has a little bit, but if you notice on the deep plays, he trails just a little bit. He trailed last week, but the ball was short. He was trailing this week, but he had Holland help over the middle and coming to the edge, and the pass wasn't on target. But if a real quarterback was there and the help wasn't there, that's a touchdown. So he's okay. He's your fourth or fifth. Don't like your starting boundary corner or even your third past, boundary corner. I don't like that as depth. We have no depth at corner. We are razor thin, and Byron Jones hasn't practiced yet. He can still come in and be fine. The guy's a vet. But when? How long? I don't know. And will he stay healthy? Will Howard stay healthy? Howard's awesome, but he gets injured a lot. We are so razor thin. Both, if Byron can make it in, and Howard can stay healthy, and they both can stay healthy, and Needham can stay there, and those three guys can stay healthy all season, we'll be all right, even with our lack of depth. Can kind of cover it up with Rowe and the safeties and stuff like that. But any injuries of that corner group, we're in big trouble. Now, who else did I miss? Oh, yeah, Davis. A little concerned about the weight drop. I really love him against the inside zone, and man, had some great plays. Get a little concerned, though, on the zone stretch. He gets on the move, and because he's so tall, he gets swept out of the way. Got to do a bigger research on him, But I'm happy with the direction he's going with the weight loss and what he's looking like, except this one caveat. It'll be very interesting considering Patriots have added heavy zone stretch. I think that they're going to do zone stretch, go back to the Skarnecki way of adding all three man, inside zone, and zone stretch. But we'll see. That's just my gut feeling. I think they're going to make it more complicated for defenses to prepare for them by having three schemes and three techniques. Well, Last, talent level. Talent level estimations. There are clear indications of what we got long-term with certain players and within this year of certain players. Noah, no good. He's got to be cut. I mean, it's a travesty. He cannot cover. He's done. Either it's confidence or whatever. The guy is just always operating in slow-mo. Forget about it. You understand that. Jackson. He's a backup at this stage. I think the kid will develop eventually. I do. He's just got to get stronger and work on his technique. He was rushed in. He's not ready. He is going to be a liability. At this stage, for this season, backup. Eichenberg. I had hopes for him. I see some in the pass game, but this whole team is going to be based on the run game. We run the football, we win. We don't, we're going to struggle. We'll win, but not when it counts. And he is not looking good. We overpaid for Jackson. We overpaid for Eichenberg, a second and a third. Overpaid for Noah, too. Big time. Hunter Long, third-round pick. Gesicki can't block. He's never going to block. Smythe can kind of block, but he's really slow, so he's not really a threat. You know what I mean? So defenses understand. He's on the field. Oh, he's an outlet. He's not really going to make anything, so he's just a blocker. And then Ethan Carter and then Hunter Long, nowhere to be seen. This guy needs more time to develop. Another guy, agility player, he's missing something. Third-round pick, 2 years. You ain't seeing him. We don't have a tight end group. Kinley, okay. 2/4 though? Overpaid. Okay. 5th round maybe. 6th. Jones, I like Robert Jones. Good back-end pick. He's a guy we should have brought in. This season he should be starting at right guard. Hunt, maybe whatever, I don't know. Some kind of guard position. Or just grooming him to be a good backup is an inside zone. But he's a good pickup, but he's not. I don't know if I got to do the tape. I'm going to do a real serious tape on him because I like the kid. I like his potential. It's just uncertain. I see things that I love and then things I'm worried about. Still think he might be better than some of the all-stars we got. And then Dieter, bust, third-round pick. So if you look at it, Eichenberg, Jackson, Kinley, and Dieter. First round for Jackson, second and third for Eichenberg, 2/4 for Kinley, and a third for Dieter, and we got Bupkis. Greer and Noah, you can blame that on Flores. So I'm not saying it's all on Greer. But Greer, when you go back to his scouting protocols, when he took over in 2007, he's got some great protocols with certain positions. He's picked up some good players along the way. Because remember, they set the protocols. The coach says, I want this type of player, and then the scouts staff observes, and they grade him, and they send it up. And then they don't just say, I want this guy, this guy's good. It's not how it works. You might like Chris Greer, you might not like Chris Greer, but if you're honest, he has clear strengths in his evaluation protocols that he hands to his staff and what they bring up to the coaches. We've had some big wins over the years. But it's clear when you go back all the way across the board from Eichenberg to Martin and yada, 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 there is a clear failing or weakness or lack of proficiency to hit a consistent level on the offensive lineman. And the problem is the offensive line is the most critical unit in the game. If you have a consistent offensive line, not great, consistent, the rest of the team has consistency. If you don't have a consistent offensive line, the rest of the team is inconsistent. And that's our problem and my concern. Now, I'll say this. I do believe the addition of Tehran, the addition of Hill and Waddle can get us to win games. We can get to 10. We can get to 11 and possibly make to the postseason. But Byron can't go down. Howard can't go down. Teron can't go down. Connor can't go down. And Hunt can't go down. If those guys stay in, I do feel good, or even need them, feel good about our chances. But these guys, we are so razor thin. So this is the concern I have. It's not to say it's absolutely founded. We'll see. Things can change and improve. But nothing on film shows us or makes me say that I could be wrong about some of the things I've said. There are things I've said we got to wait to see. We will see. This week 1 game, I'm going to go into it. Why it's so critical on so many levels. We're going to get masterful evaluation with this week 1. We'll see what week 3 brings in the preseason. I don't know if we're going to see starters, so maybe this was our last look. We will see. Had some good comments in the last couple of podcasts. I'm going to try to put them together to give the commenters a shout out for those good questions and really try to answer them. But hold tight. Don't say it's all over, we're doomed, or say nothing in this matters. We're going to win 17 games. And, it's somewhere in the middle, guys. It's going to be a battle season, and we're going to need luck. We're going to need health. Let's hold tight, see how it plays out. But let's have hope, but be realistic. This is Curtis saying thanks for staying to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe. Comments mean the most. They really do. They really, really do. Anyway, Curtis saying catch you next time. Let's have hope. For now, until the season starts. Let's see how it plays out. Go Phins. Building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.